This is Ashley's fault. It's her fault that I fell off of the wagon. What do you think? This is the Dreamweaver sock. Good morning. Happy Sunday wherever you are. It is a Sunday here in the US. It is May 5th. Yeah, it's May 5th. Welcome back to the channel, and I have a crammed episode for you today. I have been working on a finished object. I have a couple of cast-ons. I have a few works in progress. I have a few acquisitions. I have a confession. Yeah, we have a lot. So welcome to the April update video, and I guess let's get right into it. If you are new here, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Tiffany, and if you are returning, hey, how are you? How are you doing wherever you are in the world? I hope that you are doing well and that you are enjoying the weather wherever you are. It is, oh, my watch tells me what the weather is in London. In London, it's a lovely 59 degrees. Here in Florida, at 10 o'clock this morning, it was already 85 degrees. So summer's here. We have, before the day is over, we will have a, the low 90s, but our feels like will be about 100. So hello, May. It is officially summertime here. Like that's all there is to it. It's summer. But that's not stopping me from knitting. I am still knitting with my wool. I don't care. I just turn on the air conditioning or a fan and keep it moving. Where can you find me? You can find me on Ravelry as Tiffany Loves Yarn, and you can find me on Instagram as Hey Life Happens. I changed it a couple of weeks ago from Tiffs_inspired life to Hey Life Happens because, well, life does happen, and it's been happening to me a lot lately. So it seemed fitting that I should change it. And I think with that said, let's talk about finished objects. I have notes, and let's see. All right, so first up is going to be, this is my mannequin, Rebecca. I will try to remember to put some footage somewhere here on the screen of Rebecca. She normally sits in my closet. She wears a cocktail gown that I have. We have a restaurant here in Florida in, it's like between Tampa Bay and Clearwater, and it's called Ocean, and I'd really like to go there. And so this dress is the dress that I want to wear when we go there. Yeah, I have a vision. Do you ever get like that? Do you ever find like a restaurant or something that you want to go to and you have like the perfect outfit picked out for that experience, I guess? Yeah, that's me. I'm that girl. I brought Rebecca out of the closet, and Rebecca is wearing my girlfriend's shawl. And this was part of the Malabrigo make-along that they had to introduce their new yarn called Malabrigo Dos Tierras. And how pretty is this? Look at that. This was a super simple, a very forgiving pattern. Once you understood like the basic theme of the pattern, it was really, really, really easy. I used 3 colors. I used color number, I'll put a picture of them up here for you. I used color 365, which was called Ursula. I used color 036, which is Purl, and I used 063, which is Natural. So this is the Natural, this white one right here. And this gray bit is Purl. right here. And this is the Ursula, which is pretty fitting. I think that, you know, it looks just like Ursula. I cast this on April 5th. I cast it off on April 27th, and I blocked it 2 days later on the 29th. I soaked it in the sink, and I put it in the sink with some no rinse, oh shoot, not soak, but the other one. I forgot what it's called. You know, the wool wash. Anyway, so I put it in the sink, I let it soak, and then I ended up training somebody and I forgot that it was in the sink. So by the time I came back, the water was cool. And I was just looking at this big pile in the sink. And so then I took it out of the sink, put it in the towel, rolled it up, did the smush, smush, smush thing. And then I decided that instead of putting it on, getting out the blocking mats and the blocking pins, I was just going to take it outside because the sun had moved to the back half of the house and I have a big bench. I'll put a picture right here for you. So what I ended up doing was just spreading it out after I'd squeezed out the water, just putting it on the bench and just letting it block that way. And let's see. Yeah, it doesn't even fit all the way. So your wingspan is your height, and I'm 5 feet tall, and it sticks out past the 5 foot mark by like another foot. So it blocked out just fine, just sitting on the bench. It opened up the lace beautifully. I think a combination of the heat from the sun and then the weight of it just hanging down just really helped the lace to open up. Let's see. A lot of people said that they ran out of yarn, and they're right, they do. Let me see if I kept the pattern. No, I didn't. Okay, so if you decide to make this, I used size 6 needles instead of size 7, which is what the pattern recommends. And I went down a needle size because I know my gauge, and I was spot on. Everybody that made this, they all said pretty much the same thing, and that was that they ran out of yarn because you do the repeat, which is a six section repeat, and you're supposed to repeat it 4 times, which gives you 24 sections. But then after that, there's a section that says finishing, and when you do the finishing, you have all of these different things that you're supposed to do. So I was looking at the little balls of yarn that I had left over when I got finished with my last repeat, and I was like, I'm not going to have enough yarn to finish this, not even slightly. So what I decided to do was to just go ahead and finish it off after the last repeat. I did learn a new technique with this project, which was really cool. As simple and basic as all of this was, at the end, the bind off is the Icelandic bind off, and I don't know if you guys are really going to be able to. There you go. Aha, look at me go. And I used the Ursula to do the Icelandic bind off, and it was really, really, really simple, and it's stretchy, like it's stretchy. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. I think that this would even be cool for your cuffs on a sweater. I think that it would be okay. I don't know that it would be okay for a hem. Yeah, I don't know that it would be okay for the hem of a sweater, but I think that the cuffs of your sleeves would definitely be good. And it's uniform because literally it comes out looking like just a bunch of V's. So that's pretty cool. The Icelandic bind off, if you've never done it before, it's really, really simple. You knit a stitch, then you put it back on the left hand needle, then you stick your right hand needle through that stitch and purlwise, and you stick your needle knitwise through the next stitch, and you knit those stitches off the needle. Then that one stitch that you have left, you put it onto your left hand needle and you repeat. Essentially, you want to look for that little X when you stick your needle in this way, and then you stick it in this way. And once you've got that little X, then yarn over and pull the stitches off. They come right off. I found a really good, really old, I think it was like a 3-year-old tutorial online for it, and I'll remember to put it down below for you. But if you want to try a different cast off, if you want to try a different bind off that's really easy, that has that's pretty and has, you know, some give to it, I definitely recommend the Icelandic bind off. Yeah, what else can I say? Mom and I did this knit along together, and Mom is still working on hers. Mom, by the way, is in Las Vegas this week. She went to Sin City Knits, and then she went to a new knit shop as well. So in next month's video, unless I do another video this month, I'll show you guys the goodies that Mom brought back from Vegas. But yeah, so this is the Girlfriend's Shawl, which was the Malabrigo knit along for March and April, and I definitely recommend the pattern. It is very beginner friendly. My mom is a Facebooker, and on Facebook a lot of people that are beginning knitters were using this project as their jump in the water thing, and I think it's going to be perfect for me. Yeah, there we go. That's a win. I think it's going to be perfect for the winter, especially with with a coat, and then it's not super heavy. It's got really nice drape to it. This yarn was really nice to knit with, but depending on whether you used the natural or you used one of the dyed yarns, the Purl or the Ursula, I did notice that the thickness of the yarn varied slightly. So if you do decide to make this, take that into account. But anyway, yeah, I think this is going to be perfect for the fall and winter to keep me warm and toasty. Okay, the next thing that I worked on, thank you, madam. The next thing that I worked on this month was I finished a pair of scrappy socks. And I used this for the foot, and this is one of the Mom Mystery yarns, and it's got, oh, that's a good image. It's got pinks and purples and brown speckles in it, and I'm a sucker for a speckled yarn, so yep. So I used that for the foot, and this is how they came out. And then I used like a raspberry color for the ribbing, and then I used this color, this color for the heel, and then the color that I used for the gusset, the toe, I finished all of that color, and I finished all of this raspberry color. It was just like some scrappy colors that I had left over. And I finished both of them. I cast on 60 stitches, and I knit them on size 2.5 millimeter 9-inch circular needles. And I had said in my last video that I was going to try to knit my socks on 60 stitches instead of 64, because it occurred to me that my socks weren't as tight on my feet as I would like them to be. And I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I just always cast on 64 stitches. Like, it never occurred to me to try the 60 or the 56. I don't know. I think part of it is just when I first started knitting socks, I was just like, oh, well, we'll just start with the basic, you know, whatever, and go from there. And then I never deviated from that. I have to say, 60 stitches, fantastic. Absolutely love it. I did try, I'll show you in my next sock. I tried the 60 stitches on the 2.25 needle, like that too, but I'll tell you about it in a minute. Anyway, these are my raspberry scrappy socks. Absolutely love them. And I still have all of this left. So I was thinking I might pair it with another yarn and make the muscle burrow hat, because I have the pattern. And the creator of the Muscle Burrow, is Isolde Teague? Yeah, Isolde Teague actually has a new video on YouTube called How to Start the Muscle Burrow Hat, and she does a whole breakdown on how she starts it on DPNs, magic loop. Anyway, so I saw that video and I already have the pattern. So I'm thinking I'm going to use what's left of this to make a muscle burrow. Maybe this on one end, and then you see how it's got the browns in it? Pick one of those browns for the other color. Anyway, these are my raspberry socks. That's what I'm calling them, is raspberry. That's just what they make me think of. And I absolutely love them. And I have a basic sock recipe that I knit for my footies. It is, well, now it is cast on 60, but knit 10 rounds of 2x2 rib, and then do 5 rounds of regular knitting for your leg, and then go right into the heel. And I do the slip stitch heel. And I am trying a new toe because I've always done the wedge toe, but this one is slightly less wedgy. Yeah. I know. Wedgy. Okay. Yeah. You know what I mean. It has slightly less of a wedge shape to it. I found a pattern when I decided I wanted to try 60 stitches instead of 64. I found a pattern called the basic sock pattern. I'll try to remember to leave a pop-up here, and I'll leave a link for it down below because it was a free pattern. Because as you know, up to a point this month, I wasn't buying any patterns. And so I am working on that basic pattern, and this is the toe that it creates. It's nice. I like it. It's comfortable. I'm still doing the Finchley bind off for the 8 stitches because, as you guys know, I don't Kitchener. But yeah, so that's the raspberry socks finished. The next sock that I cast on was these purple socks, and I cast them on in April, but I don't remember when I cast them on in April, but I know I finished the first sock on April 20th. And, oh, there's a fuzzy. The first one is done, and I knit this one on the 2.25 millimeters, still 60 stitches, and I did 25 rows of 2x2 rib, and then I knit for 60 rows for my leg, and then I do the standard heel flap and gusset. And the yarn that I used for the cuff and the leg is Mrs. Crosby Likes to Play, and it is on their train case base, and the colorway is called Pansy. And for the heel and toe, I am just using a scrappy yarn that came in an advent that I had. I don't know what it's called, but I'm trying to use my scraps. And I know this was like a skinny single, you know, one of those 10-gram minis. So, and it's pretty because it's got bits of, focus, it's got bits of rust and orange and some brown in it, as well as the purple. So anyway, so I'm hoping to finish the majority of this, and then what's left I will put into a magic knot ball to go into another scrappy project. All right, I am working on the second sock, and that's what the yarn looks like in the cake. It's got like a slight halo to it. It's really pretty. I didn't enjoy working on the yarn making the first sock, but for whatever reason I am enjoying making the second sock. Like, I flew through the leg of the second one, and here's my 9-inch circular sticking out the back. I just leave the sock on the circular needles, and then I just use my DPNs to do my heel flap and heel turn. And then once that's done, I go back and I pick up the stitches. But look how pretty that is. I will say that the 60 stitches on the 2.25 millimeter feels a lot tighter. I haven't tried on the sock yet, the one that's finished. I want to wait and finish them both, and then I'll try them on. I'm just funny like that. Get back on the needle. Get back on the needle. Thank you. Yeah. So I will let you guys know, but I'm kind of nervous, honestly, about the 60 stitches on the 2.25 millimeter. But this is unblocked, and this one I blocked it just to see. So I mean, I feel like it's stretched out a fair amount, a little bit, maybe a total of 4 stitches worth it relaxed. So maybe they'll fit okay, but I don't know. I'll let you guys know how I like the 60 stitches on the 2.5 versus the 2.25. I started rearranging my office, and I found a rye light sock that I had started. And this is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern. It is called their Rye Light sock. And this is all mystery yarn. This is mom yarn. I don't know what any of them are called, but it's very pretty and it's sparkly. It's got silver stellina in it. And the same thing for the heel and the toe. It is mystery yarn, but it's also got the stellina in it. I thought that once I finished these, I would give them to my mom. These are on the 64 stitches, and this kind of gives you an idea of like how different in size those 60 stitches versus 64. Like, yeah, see how it sticks out, like the difference? So that's 60 stitches versus the 64. It really matters. But so I'll probably finish these and give them to mom. And so here's the second sock. It is started. Yep, it is started. And this is what the yarn looks like when it's all caked up. I feel like it actually knit up darker than what we actually see on the skein. Isn't that funny how that happens? How sometimes a yarn will look like really bright and vivid, but then when you go to knit it comes out darker. And yeah, that's weird. And it's not even the case of blocking, because look, it's definitely darker than the skein. Anyway, so I've started the second sock, and there's the sparkly yarn for the heel and toes. And I'm really not enjoying the pattern. I'm making them because they need to be finished, and I'm going to give them to mom when they're done. But I didn't enjoy actually knitting it. I really enjoyed it when I first picked them up. When I first started, I remember starting them and how much I enjoyed them, but I didn't enjoy knitting it when I wanted to finish them. So yeah, but my goal is to get them finished this month so that they'll be off the needles. All right, so now we can move on to whips. All right, so for my whips, you guys, you will remember that I wanted to make the Dreamweaver socks. These ones right here. And I wanted to make them out of this lemonade looking yarn. Oh, that's actually showing up really true to color. It's really like that. It's just different hues. This yarn is really fun to work with. I wish I knew what it was, because I would go back to this dyer and buy it in other colorways. It's so soft, it's so squishy. I'm really enjoying working with it. I really, really, really wish that I knew who it was by, but alas, it is a mom yarn. And this is how far I got. So in April, I had finished the third lace repeat on April 29th. I had not started the heel. Excuse me, I had not started the heel flap yet. Water break. Check out my cute glass. Isn't it adorable? I went to Home Goods yesterday, and I know, I have a Cricut. I have the clear vinyl. You can buy the jars at Joann's and you can make them yourselves. But I'm chicken. I'm not gonna lie. I'm afraid. So I bought this one, and this one actually, it looks like they just put the clear waterproof stickers all over it. They didn't do like the all over sheet print. Anyway, and my mint plant is still growing, so that's what's in there is mint leaves. Anyway, so that's what I'm drinking today. Back to the sock. So this is how far I was on the 29th. I had finished all of the repeats, and let me see. Can you see the leaves? It's really, really pretty. There is a definite left and right sock in the pattern. And this sock was a learning experience for me because I was trying to do it and I was really struggling. And you know how normally when you knit, oh yeah, that works. You know how normally when you knit and you have to do oh, that came out really well. And you have to do a slip, slip knit, you would normally slip purlwise. This pattern has a slip, slip, slip knit. And it's normally preceded by a yarn over. And every time I went to do it, when I went to knit the 3 slips together, it was a major struggle, like major struggle. And the pattern didn't tell you whether you needed to slip knitwise or slip purlwise. And I went online and I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I found a video for the slip, slip, slip knit specifically. And the person slipped knitwise. Who knew? I didn't. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try slipping knitwise and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? My leaves face the wrong direction? I don't know. I have no clue. So I tried that, and it started to just fly off the needles. And I was like, oh, I wish I'd have known that when I first started, because the sock probably sat for, I don't know, probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, because I dreaded picking it up and working on it. And the repeat is 12 rows just to create one section of the leaves. And the leg requires, I think it's 3. Yeah, you do it 3 times to get the full lace. And then you do the, then you do the heel, and then you carry on from there. Now, the lace runs down across the top of the foot, so I don't know if I'm actually going to do that, because the pattern is 64 stitches. It doesn't come any other way except 64 stitches. And I don't know if I want to brave the lace all the way down for the foot. But then again, by the same token, it's something I've never done before, so I really want to give it a try. I think I'm going to end up doing it. I am doing a regular heel flap and gusset, just the regular slip stitch heel. As I was doing the slip stitch heel, I was thinking that the Eye of Partridge heel would have been really pretty for this as well. I think it would have added to just the whole daintiness of the project as a whole. But it's too late to turn back now, as the song says. So that's where I am on that one. I only have the one done. because like I said, it sat for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I was like, I can't do those SSSKs. So that's that. So the Dreamweaver socks, I have one done. I am working on the heel flap and gusset. I actually started the heel flap and gusset on the 3rd. Yeah, I started it on the 3rd of May. Okay, my next whip is, I decided that here in Florida, because it's so hot, like I wear a lot of tank tops and t-shirts. I'm pretty much a t-shirt girl year round anyway. But I wear a lot of tank tops, and I didn't want to do the usual go to Walmart or go to Target and buy a bunch of tank tops. And so I decided that I was just going to try to make some. There's my pen. Make some for myself this year. So I have a pattern that was already in stash. I think it's a free pattern. I'm pretty sure it's a free pattern. It's by Maker, and it is called the Tip Top Tank. And this is what it looks like. How cute is that, right? It's not super fitted. Hers is cropped. Obviously, I'm not going cropped. But, so I decided that I would give this a try, and I cast it on April 20th, and I am making the size medium. This is a fairly size inclusive pattern. It starts with an extra small and it goes up to a 2XL. You can use any 5-ply or sport weight yarn, and they recommend a 3.5 and a 3.25 millimeter needle. The only other thing that you're going to need is stitch markers. I did modify the pattern slightly because it does have a split hem, and I didn't want a split hem. So I just figured out how many stitches I needed to cast on, and I went from there. Since it could use a sport weight yarn, I thought that I would go online to Purl Soho, and I got, come on, I'm stuck, guys. I got their Cotton Pure yarn. It's 100% organically grown cotton, and each ball has 279 yards, which is 100 grams. They recommend between a size 3 and a size 5 knitting needle, machine wash cold, tumble dry on low, and the yarn comes from Peru. This particular colorway, it's showing up. There you go. That's probably a bit true. Yeah, that's truer to color right there. Yeah, that shade. It's called Peach Peony, and I thought that, yeah, I could get away with that. That'll work. So I bought 3 skeins of it, and if you guys saw my short that I did, I think it was on the 13th of April with Walter helping me to spin the yarn. I have a really nice ball winder that Jay got me from Germany, and I have a German Swift that my mom gifted me. But for whatever reason, my ball winder doesn't want to make cakes. Like, they start out cakey, but then they become this. And I don't know why. My ball winder, it came with an extra band, so I'm gonna try replacing the band and see if that helps. And my Swift is all wood and it's unfinished, so I'm gonna try getting some beeswax because it does squeak when I use it. So I'm gonna try putting some beeswax on it and see if that helps. But yeah, this is what I get now when I make a cake. This is it. But it starts out really well. And then from there, just forget it. Anyway, so I cast this on I think it was on 420. I think it was 420. Actually, no, I think it was before that, because I took it with me one day when I went to get my nails done with Alejandria, and I think that was on the 13th. And we stopped at the bagel place. I remember, I'll put some footage here of me knitting on it with the bagel, because I got this amazing tuna melt bagel. And the bagel place, they're called Fish Hawk Bagels, and they're a New York based bagel company, and they actually boil them like they do in New York. Oh my God, they're so good. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. So I had finished the body on 4:30, and on May 1st I started the left front panel, and I'll hold it upside down for you. So here's my body, and for the size medium it says to knit 9 inches from the cast on edge and then to start the panels. How pretty is that? Definitely needs to be blocked. I will say that as you're knitting, the yarn twists, so your stitches don't necessarily come out as even as you would like. So I'm hoping that will be okay with blocking. But I finished the body. I did the 1x1 rib. You're supposed to cast on the front on one needle and do the ribbing, and then you cast on the back and on the other needle, and then you join so that you have the split hem. But instead of me doing that, I just cast on the complete number of stitches that I needed, which was, I believe, 184. Yeah, I cast on 184 stitches. And I forgot to say, for the size medium, you would need 420 yards of yarn, which is why I got, I got 400. I got 3 skeins of the yarn, because I figured better to be safe than sorry, and whatever's left I can just use to make some washcloths or hand towels for the kitchen. So it's a bit of a needly mess right now. I finished the first triangle, so it goes like, as I try not to stab myself in the neck with a needle. So that's how far we are so far on it. The pattern said to cast on and to knit for 9 inches from the hem, but I knit for 10 inches because I didn't want it to be cropped, and then I figured with blocking that might get me like another ½ inch and I'll be okay. So I finished the first triangle, because you knit all 4 of them separately, and then the shoulder strap is knit off of the front triangles. And the shaping is really pretty. Yeah, I thought that was really pretty. That's the underarm, and then that's the other side. So, and I think my stitch marker on this one is a little snake. Yeah. So anyway, this is definitely a beginner-friendly pattern. If you're looking for a garment pattern that you can make that is beginner-friendly, because you just knit in the round, and then they literally walk you through how to start your 4 sections and go from there to complete the top. I am hoping to finish this month so I can wear it, and I think I'm going to order some more of this cotton in some more neutral colors and make some more of this. Once this one is finished and I see whether or not the length is right, or if the front shaping is good, then I will go from there. I think I'll still order 3 balls because I want the length. But anyway, so that's where I am with that. I did finish the Nudo headband. I don't like it. I like the yarn. It's soft, it's fluffy, it's pretty. I don't like the Nudo headband. It's not the fault of the pattern, it's not the fault of the designer. It's okay if I want to wear it. I've got makeup on, so I'm not going to do it. It's okay if I wear it, this way with a knot across my forehead, but if I want to wear it with the headband going up underneath, like I've said before, my head is like flat back there, so it just falls right off. It won't be a staple piece for my winter wardrobe. It'll be more like a, let me just grab it and chuck it in my purse in case it happens to be cold. But I did finish that this month also. I forgot to tell you. I did not work on the wool and honey sweater at all this month. I think I'm kind of in a tank top frame of mind at the moment. So yeah, so that's that. So we're at the acquisition section. All right, so I have a confession, but it's not my fault. I was watching, okay, context. On a Wednesday, I went for a walk with Jay, and we were just talking about sock patterns and how happy I was that my sock mojo had returned. And I had commented to him, and I had said, I wish Summer Lee had a sock pattern book. If she did, I would totally go and buy it. And he was like, oh, are you sure she doesn't have one? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she doesn't have one. She only has her patterns that she sells on Ravelry and on her shop. And 2 days later, I was watching a new to me podcaster. Her name is Ashley, and her YouTube channel is called Smash Knits, and she is Australian, I believe. I'll leave a link below for her channel. Everything that she knits is really bright and vibrant, and she's just got this personality, like her personality is massive. I really, really, really enjoy her channel. She's a newer YouTuber, so definitely check her out. Her link is down below. So anyway, this is Ashley's fault. It's her fault that I fell off of the wagon because I was watching her podcast and she was talking about this book. In fact, here's the screenshot of Ashley holding the book. Not sponsored. I don't know her. I've never met her. She won't find out until today that I was even talking about her channel. Or when the video is released, I should say. But anyway, she was talking about this book and how she was super excited to start to learn to knit socks because she was just starting. And she said that she had this knitting book by Summer Lee. And I'm like, excuse me, you have a Summer Lee knitting book? Wait a minute. And on Amazon, I found it, ordered it, and it showed up the next day. Like, love it. So here we go. It's the Summer Lee, the Sock Project book. It's 25 patterns, 5 different heels, cuff down, toe up, tips for sizing and fitting. And okay, the book automatically opened to this section because I'm super excited about this. It never occurred to me to put mohair and my sock yarn together to make super fuzzy winter socks. So super excited about that. There are several, she teaches you how to fade. And she has videos for it. There are video patterns in here for striped socks, Fair Isle socks, super busy motify socks, textured socks, like shorty socks, mid-calf socks, long socks, scrappy socks, like everything is in here. This, if you are new to sock knitting, I definitely recommend this book. I think on Amazon for me, it was like, I think it was $25. It might have even been 20. One of those two. Anyway, she goes over so much. And then the day that the book came in the mail was the day that I found her podcast as well. And I actually did a post in the community tab about it. And I was like, anybody else know she had a podcast? I think she just started it about the same time that her book came out though. And it's really cool because like if you want to learn how to fade socks, it's in here. But then she did a whole video about how she just wanted to make some fade socks, and she sits down on the floor with the yarn and she's talking about how she chooses her different colors, what her secret is to how she gets the fade to actually look like a fade. just all kinds of stuff. So I'll also leave a link to Summer Lee's podcast down below, as well as a link on Amazon to where I found the book, and a link to Smash Knits. So anyway, this was my downfall. It's all Smash Knits' fault, because after that, I was like, well, you've fallen off the pattern wagon. It's happened. So are there any other patterns that you want to buy? And I really wanted to try some of the My Favorite Things Knitwear patterns. And so I went and I bought these two, camisole number 2 and camisole number 4. And I figured that these could be staples in my wardrobe. Like I said, living here in Florida, you need a lot of tank tops. And since I don't want to buy them anymore, I figured I would give this a go. And I think they came out to like $4.95 on their website for each one, which it wasn't bad. And so I'm going to start. I waited to start this until after this video because I wanted to show you guys. So I'm going to start with this one, which is camisole number 4. And this picture is actually knit with this yarn. This is the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, and it is called Dusty Artichoke. I've never knit with, am I going to be able to do this? Probably not. I've never knit with Knitting for Olive, but it's all over the internet. Everybody's always talking about the Knitting for Olive yarn, and everybody's always talking about how awesome and amazing and lovely and wonderful it is. So I figured, okay, I would give it a try and see, what I think. And I was surprised at how rustic this one was. And so I had to go back and I had to do some research, and I found a YouTube video that, if I remember, I'll link it down below, where somebody actually rated this yarn, and they actually broke down how it was made, why it is so rustic, why this isn't super soft and silky. It was really interesting. And at first when I got this, I was like, oh, it's like cotton. I let it sit for a couple of days and I kept coming back, and I'm like, but I could see this as a tank top, and I could see it as being really pleasant. And I want to try to knit more with some natural fibers throughout the summer. Yeah, so not necessarily just the wool or just cotton. I want to try some other fibers, and so this gives me that opportunity. If you want a YouTuber that is really, really good at introducing you to new fibers, I have been watching a lot of Martina over at We Grow Wild, and she's been using a lot of natural fibers, a lot of plant-based natural fibers. So you might want to check her out if you don't know who she is, because she does a lot of let's talk about natural fibers. Obviously, the silk isn't plant-based because it comes from the silkworms, but still. So this is what I'm going to cast on this week. I'm super excited. And then I got it from this company. If you're here in the US, this is a small local yarn shop. They're in Raleigh, North Carolina. The owner, his name is Glenn. And when I ordered from him, I didn't know that he was a new yarn shop that was just trying to get started. And so I told them that I would make a point of saying, hey, check them out if you want Knitting for Olive yarn. This one was $13 a skein for it, so which was pretty comparable to everybody else in the US that actually had this yarn, since it doesn't come from the US. So I'm going to cast on camisole number 4 probably this afternoon, and I'll let you guys know how I progress. The other one that I want to make is camisole number 2. And I think that this is the one that Martina makes of We Grow Wild, that she makes a lot of for herself. And she uses I think it's a cotton linen. Cotton linen yarn is what she uses to make hers, and hers get a lot of wear because they are living off grid and they're doing a lot of house stuff and garden stuff. So I'm gonna go and look at her on one of her videos and find the yarn that she uses to make hers, and I'm gonna give that a try with one of the cotton linen yarns. So hopefully I will get to cast this on this month, but we'll see. I have to find the yarn first. So that is that. I bought 2 more patterns. They are both by Joanna Ang. One is called the Rib Wave, and this is a new pattern that she just released, and it looks so soft and so fluffy, and I want to make it in white just like you see here. And it was so funny because I put it in my Ravelry shopping cart, and then I went to buy it, and it was like, oh, you have another pattern in your shopping cart for her as well, and it is the Tea of Heaven sweater, and it's got these lovely baubles down the sleeve. And so I think these will be my winter 2024 wishful projects. So I'll get the yarn for them and then set them aside for the winter. So those were the other 2 patterns that I got. I don't have anything else to say about them because they're going to be for the winter. I have 3 more acquisitions. They're super, super tiny though, so hold on. I treated myself to some new stitch markers, and I went on Etsy. There's this shop called Celebrity Sighting, and she has, these were the ones that made me go to her shop. Come on. Check them out. They're little fish in bags. Like when you go to the pet store and you buy a fish. How cute are they? So yeah, I couldn't help myself. So I bought those. And then if you're new to the channel, I was born in England. I am 100% Anglophile, and I am just about the most British American you'll ever meet. I do afternoon tea. I don't eat cookies. I eat biscuits. I don't drink American tea. I drink Yorkshire Gold. I have a Union Jack flag. Like, yeah, I'm British. I cried when the Queen passed. So anyway, they had, focus, these Queen's Guard stitch markers. Focus. So I got them. There were 5, but I've already given 1 to Mom. And the other ones that I got were these little kitties. As if you are new to the channel, in August, my cat Shiva passed away. But in, I think, March, my daughter got a cat named Walter, and occasionally Walter will make appearances in my videos. Anyway, I'm a cat lover through and through, and I won't have another pet cat after Shiva, but that's not going to stop me from getting incredibly cute cat stitch markers. So there was this one with the mom carrying her baby. Let's see, what's the next one? This one he's wrapped up, it looks like in little hearts, lights that are shaped like hearts. Oh, this little guy with his little heart. Anyway, I thought that these were really, really cute. Her shop has so many different things in it, and I'll leave a link for it below. Again, not sponsored. Didn't ask. I just wanted to share that I got some incredibly cute stitch markers. Right now I am reading this. I went to Barnes & Noble's with my mom the other day before she left for her flight to Las Vegas, and we happened to see these, and we were attracted to them because the cover is this one, it's embroidery, and the cover of the other one is counted cross stitch. So we were like, oh, those are cute, and so we just grabbed them on sheer principle alone. And normally I don't like mystery books, but this one has got tiny little short stories in it, and they involve one character, and she's a little old lady. So it's super cute. The book is translated into English, so I'm not sure what the original language was. Swedish. The author is Helene Tursten, and they were originally Swedish books. So I think there's like 267 pages in each book, and at the end of each book there is a recipe for something. So in this one it is gingerbread cookies. I think this one was like $14.99. It was $14.99, but Barnes and Nobles was doing their whole buy one get one 50% off thingy, so it was good. So yeah, that's what I'm currently reading. I know, not my usual. I am still reading what is it, Amazingly Bright Creatures, and I am to the part where the Pacific octopus only has about 30 days left before he expects to not live, because they only live for like 1,400 days, 1,467 days to be exact. But anyway, so I'm still reading that. On Audible, I just finished listening to Teacups and Treason by India Holton. It was the last book in her series. She has a new one that comes out in June or July. It's called The Osprey Letters, I think. So I've pre-ordered that one, so I'll get that one to listen to in Audible. And the other book I am listening to in Audible is Humanly Possible, which is a philosophy book on the history of being a humanist. So it's interesting. It started right now. I'm at like the 1400s, and it moves forward to current times. You can only listen to a little bit at a time, and then you've got to go and Google. But it's interesting. Like, I learned that there used to be these giant statues of Buddha carved into some walls, some mountains over by Afghanistan. I didn't know that, so then I was able to go back and Google and find the original pictures and what they looked like before they were destroyed in the 90s. So that's what I'm listening to on Audible. That's what I'm reading. That's what I'm knitting. That's what I've bought. I have officially fallen off the pattern wagon. I did find 5 free patterns. One of them is a Stephen West pattern. It's called the Treasure Trove Wrap. And then there was a pattern for the Candy Twist cable socks. These 4 patterns were all free patterns that I found on Ravelry this month, and so I will leave a link for them below. Hopefully I won't fall off the wagon anymore this year. I should be good. I'm hoping, but again, it's not my fault. Ashley, if you're watching, thank you. I think that is everything for today. This was a long one. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it inspiring, entertaining. I hope that it has given you some ideas for some new things to make. And with that said, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.